Now, if you've had the opportunity to spend any time in Hanoi recently, then you've probably witnessed firsthand how rapidly Vietnam is developing as a country. As with any other major metropolitan area that's undergoing rapid cultural and economic growth, there still exists a broadening gap between the wealthy and those who are still in need. Now, Vietnam is getting richer, that's for sure. But it's also plenty rich in selfless individuals and organizations who lend a helping hand to those in need. Let's first get to know some faces of Vietnam, kind-hearted individuals with the intent of building and maintaining community to create positive changes for the disadvantaged. For our big story this week, we'll be profiling a young man from the UK created a grassroots initiative dedicated to directly providing aid to those in need in Vietnam, hand to hand. And finally, for Out and About, we'll be sitting in on a long-standing community reading and writing class, which is taught free of charge by a 75-year-old teacher. In this episode of Vietnam A to Z, we're going to celebrate charity work in Vietnam. For this edition of Faces of Vietnam, we'll be profiling two pretty different nonprofit groups, both of which were founded with the emphasis of building and maintaining community. We'll start with one organization that began in 2003, which has grown to become one of Vietnam's major and most impactful humanitarian charities today.
Blue Dragon Children's Foundation.
Bản thân tôi đã từng là trẻ em đường phố và bây giờ tôi đang hỗ trợ và giúp đỡ các trẻ em đường phố khác.
Sứ mệnh của Blue Dragon đó là cung cấp sự chăm sóc đặc biệt và giúp cho các trẻ em trong hoàn cảnh đặc biệt.
Sống xanh đã làm thay đổi cuộc sống của tôi.
Established in 2003 by an Australian teacher named Michael Brasowski, the Blue Dragons Children Foundation targets street children, victims of human trafficking, and provides them with the services they need, like shelter, meals, education, legal services, and so much more.
Trẻ đường phố và nạn nhân của mua bán người là những đối tượng chịu nhiều thiệt thòi và dễ bị tổn thương nhất trong xã hội.
Besides immediate support such as accommodation and medical treatment, Blue Dragon also provides the kids with long-term development, including
hỗ trợ đi học và học nghề và điều trị tâm lý.
Within 15 years of operation, Blue Dragon has sent 4,835 kids back to school or into job training, provided shelter to 610 girls and boys, placed 264 teens in jobs, served 497,485 meals, built 92 homes for families, reunited 506 runaways with their families, hosted 2,477 games of soccer.
Mỗi trẻ em ở Rồng Xanh thì trở thành một phần trong đại gia đình Rồng Xanh và các em trở thành động lực để cho tất cả các nhân viên cùng làm việc.
Now, I'm along the train tracks that run through the heart of Hanoi, and I'm about to meet somebody who, on a smaller scale, aims to improve the community through the goodness of her heart.
Mở mang, bổ ích,
giao lưu bạn bè quốc tế,
fulfilling, amazing,
exciting,
so happy.
Those are just a few words people use to describe their feelings after each free English lesson of founded by
Thảo Quách.
Thao spends 2 hours every day teaching English for the elderly living alongside the railway tracks when the train isn't scheduled to pass by. She also arranges free English classes for the kids. She invites her foreign friends to these classes so that her students can practice what they've learned. It's organized and executed for one simple reason.
I really love this community.
Tao would like to support and encourage the locals to start their own business. And since this area is such an interesting spot for foreign tourists that are passing through, the locals are able to
Use English, I teach them.
The Railway Hanoi project is also dedicated to beautifying the area around the railway tracks. Tao and her team work on refreshing the fronts of these long-standing residences.
I want to make the street here prettier, to make the locals love their home more, and to attract tourists.
That's good enough. That's a heart. That's a heart, right? That's a heart. I'm very happy to be able to lend my hand in the beautifying of this community. And now I gotta watch this thing because it's time to move on to the big story. The star of our big story is this gentleman, Christopher Axe, from Manchester, England. Are you curious as to what he's up to here? What's in that big plastic bin he's zip tying to a pole? Well, I am too. So let's ask him some questions to find out. So what's in the box?
It just says that they can put food in or take what you need if you're hungry. So I'm hoping to just zip tie them to a few locations around Hanoi.
And why have you chose this specific location?
Because we're right near Long Bien Bridge, areas where homelessness is prevalent in the hotspots. But this can encourage a little bit of community participation. It could work. It might not work. We'll find out. There's there's no guarantee, but every opportunity.
These are Axe's food boxes, which he began posting in September 2018 in areas around Hanoi with a high concentration of disadvantaged people.
The idea is that people can pass by these boxes, they can put in food, toiletries, things like plasters and bandages and things that the homeless may need, and then hopefully the homeless will just be able to take what they need. If it works with these few boxes that we've done so far, then I'm hoping to spread it out across a bit more citywide, bigger boxes, stronger boxes, and just hopefully just keep things going in that direction, really.
The food box is one among many initiatives of Christopher's created to help people in need. A novel writer by profession and also an English teacher, Christopher Axe came to Vietnam after he traveled around Asia in late 2016. That is when it all began.
Well, I was walking home one night and I got lost on the way to my hostel in Hanoi, yeah. And I saw there was a woman sleeping on a plastic chair with a child in her arms. And obviously I thought she was in quite a desperate situation, so I decided to go back and just bring some food and things like that, just to make life a little bit easier for her. And then from there, you know, I spoke with a few friends about it, and we just, I don't know, it just kind of decided that we could do lots of other little things just to help the people who are in need on the streets of Hanoi. And then that just snowballed and more people got involved.
Soon after, Chris created Help Hanoi's Homeless, a group dedicated to locating and helping people in need in Hanoi. At the beginning, Chris himself cooked free meals and handed them out to people on the streets every week. Everything came out of his own pocket.
My personal reason is from experiencing it myself 5 years ago. You know, one thing leads to another, a chain of bad luck, and eventually you're sleeping in a car park. When I see a person who's in that same situation, I see it as that could easily have been me, that was me at one point. You know, and I just think it's our responsibility to help them.
On a larger scale, Help Hanoi's Homeless works with local-based charitable organizations, orphanages, schools, and foster houses. Today, I'm joining the group founder Christopher Axe on one of his regular visits to the Blossom House in Hanoi.
Hey guys, so good. Let's just put it over here.
These are Chris's regular donations of clothing, toiletries, educational supplies, and kitchen supplies. Since 2011, Blossom House has been supporting and nurturing about 50 girls aged 18 and under who come from extreme poverty or abusive environments. This foster house is managed by the U.S. organization Humanitarian Services for the Children of Vietnam.
Trong các hoạt động của HSCV thì HX luôn đồng hành để có thể là hỗ trợ cho bọn mình, bao gồm ví dụ như là các hỗ trợ về các chi phí để hỗ trợ cho gia đình, và anh X thì thường xuyên là hỗ trợ các chi phí cho các dự án gia đình ở các vùng ngoại thành của Hà Nội.
Help Hanoi's Homeless has created an online map that highlights about 30 locations in Hanoi where the disadvantaged were known to converge so that anyone who is interested in lending aid know where they can help out.
When everybody or lots of people contribute just a little bit of their time or a little bit of their surplus clothing or some food, it makes an enormous difference. You know, big changes are made.
Help Hanoi's Homeless Facebook page now has about 1,500 members. More and more locals, overseas Vietnamese, and expats began following the organization on social media, telling their friends and bringing supplies and to donate as well. Up to 30 volunteers joined his mission of delivering free food and necessary items to those in need every Thursday night. I'm at the restaurant Achi, which is known for its delicious vegan meals. But what a lot of people don't know is that this restaurant every week prepares 50 meals to be hand-delivered to the hungry. I'm about to join them now to find out more about what they're all about. For a few weeks now, this restaurant has offered to help Hanoi's homeless with 50 free portions of vegan meals for the poor every Thursday night.
Archie Vegan House they've been incredibly helpful. They've supplied us with food for the last few weeks. They provide a lot of food, really good. It's been very well received. And it's been fantastic as well because it's allowed us to actually expand in other areas because they've taken care of the food, which is fantastic.
Hello.
Xin chào.
Chào chị. Em có thể giúp chị như thế nào?
Ok, rau xào trước.
Rau xào. Steamed bok choy with garlic.
Cho 4 bìa nhá. 4 miếng nhá.
4 miếng tofu.
Cho 1 miếng này vậy.
Dạ, món này là món gì vậy chị?
Chả bao xả.
Chảo ba xào.
Đặt cái BBQ lên trên cái cơm này.
Vâng.
Cái này là BBQ.
Chắc cái dễ hơn mà nếu mà em là người bới cơm.
Rồi, cho thêm cơm mà em. Cho thêm cơm.
Thêm cơm. I'm not being generous enough.
Cơm nhiều, rau nhiều.
Cơm nhiều. Vâng.
Thoải mái.
We're feeding the hungry. I gotta stop being stingy. Okay. Cơm như thế. Được.
Nhiều nhưng mà cũng đầy được nắp, đừng quá trời, không đầy được nắp về người ta lại không ăn được hết.
Donating food, like leftovers from events or surplus food inventory from restaurants, is one of the simplest, purest forms of humanitarian aid that anyone is capable of doing. Not only does it feed the hungry, but it also helps cut down on food waste. Though Achi Vegan House has helped contribute by preparing and packaging all the free meals, there's still much more work for Axe to take care of, especially sorting through the large amounts of donations.
So what we're going to do is this is the bag for baby stuff. Now we've got big bags of diapers here, but because there's a lot of parents with children out there, we want to try and separate them into smaller bags so that everybody gets a fairer share.
So for anybody who's watching and wants to know what are some good items to donate to help, diapers, very important.
Absolutely. We'll keep those, trying to make sure that these get spread out equally, as equally as possible to people who need it, with a priority on the elderly, medicines and supplements and things. Ideally, we want things that are labelled in Vietnamese. If something is unclear, I use Nam or somebody who can speak in Vietnamese and explain what these are. What time are we on now, Nam? Okay, so we've got ideally about 20 minutes to try and get something sorted.
Axe also organizes pickups and drop-offs for those wanting to donate. He stores all the clothes and supplies at his house before they're ready to be given away.
Clothes are sorted into children's clothes, female, male, miscellaneous like blankets, socks, mats, and pillows. Most of the children's clothes are taken to the orphanages and foster home. Other things like toiletries, toothpaste, shampoo, shower gels are sent to orphanages where they have facilities to use them. Meanwhile, mosquito repellent, sunscreen, tiger balm, ointment, those go directly to the sleeping rough. Above all, medical supplies are very important to everyone.
Hey Josh, how's it going? Could you take this to the van, mate? Women's clothes, and then there's women's clothes here. All good, yeah? Everyone got everything?
Khách có vé tàu SE1 nhanh chóng vào ga lên đoàn tàu đỗ trên đường sắt số 1.
Thursday night, we're at Ga Hanoi, the busy train station at the heart of the city. And behind me, Chris, the founder of Helping Hanoi's Homeless, is addressing all of the volunteers, an ever-growing number of volunteers. They're still arriving, and he's going over the do's and don'ts, what we have to do, the spots that we're going to hit. We have food, we have clothing, we have medical supplies, and I feel so fortunate to be able to join them on this journey today.
Right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Welcome to Help Hanoi's Homeless. Thank you for the stuff that you've brought along. What we'll be doing now is we're going to be moving on just up the road, about 5 minutes up the road. There's going to be a big group of people up there. We're just going to give out what we can. Try to keep your donations as evenly spread as possible, so if you've got a big bag of one thing, try to make sure that everybody gets some of it rather than just one person getting the whole bag. When you interact with the homeless, don't just stand there and sort of throw stuff at them. Get down, eye contact, say hello, be respectful, that kind of thing. Ask what people need. If you can speak Vietnamese, thank you. Cheers.
The Hanoi railway station is one of the hot spots in the capital city for the disadvantaged. They gather there once the city has gone to sleep, taking refuge for the night. They seem to be quite familiar with this large group of donors of different nationalities that convene here every Thursday night.
Năm nay bà bao tuổi rồi? Năm nay bà 80. Bà vừa đi Nhật Bắc về đây. Đấy, bà con biếu bà cái bánh nữa. Thôi bà xin con nhé. Vâng.
Tonight, we've got about 20 volunteers, all moving as a group to different locations around Hanoi to hand distribute various items to the hungry and those in need. Most of these folk are scrap dealers, collecting litter found on the road to earn an income. This is where they gather collected scraps for sorting every night. Chị đây em có quần short. Có nút. Dài quá. Okay. This being my first time joining in on a Help Hanoi's Homeless Thursday night run, I wasn't quite ready for how quickly everything moved. Since my Vietnamese could still use some improvement, I decided it would be best if I just stuck to giving away diapers.
Yeah, just the left up here, yeah.
Through doing this every Thursday night since December of 2017, Christopher Axe has befriended quite a few homeless people.
Quen ông ấy tới đây cho đồ hoài à. Rồi thì nhiều lần lắm rồi thì cũng quen. Thấy nhiều khi mà trời mưa trời gió, nhưng mà thấy ông ấy cũng mặc áo mưa đi, dầm mưa đi cho quà từ thiện. Nhiều khi mà mình cần kem đánh răng nói với ông ấy xong ông ấy cũng cho. Ban ngày thì khoác cái bao đi nhặt chai chai, tối thì nằm ở bìa.
With Help Hanoi's Homeless, it's not a case of putting some money in a tin and just hoping it goes to the right people. It's more a case of you can bring your donation and you can directly see that 100% of your donation is going directly to helping somebody who needs it.
Chris has been helping the homeless and disadvantaged for many years. His projects actually began in Prague, the capital city of the Czech Republic, where he lived before moving to Vietnam in late 2016. He founded Help Prague's Homeless, a frontline campaign aiming to locate, feed, and clothe the homeless throughout Prague and the surrounding area. And he's been expanding ever since.
It was a little different in Prague. We'd hand out food and it would be in a big line. But somebody came along and said that they were coming on to say that they were just here to say thank you and goodbye because they'd now found themselves a job. They'd got themselves, they'd actually been able to go to an interview with clean clothes that we'd provided, and then they found a job in Austria. They're not homeless anymore. It's just little things like that that make me happy to keep these initiatives going.
Tôi trả, tôi kéo nào. Nhà Kim Liên mất nhà mất cửa. Có một thằng con trai, cháu vỡ lợ, bây giờ con dâu nó từ chết. Đây này, bác xem này, là trên tay lở hết này. Này, lở hết, lóng nó lở hết tiểu đường mà. Tôi xin mấy bộ quần áo nhà con để hỏi bà này với cháu bé tí đấy. Đây là trông giúp người ta, chứ không phải là cháu mình. Đây là người ta bị bố mẹ bỏ đi phải trông hộ. Đây là chị hỏi bà này. Đây là hai đứa đây này. Giúp tôi. Hai đứa là khổ, bố mất sớm rồi. Cháu hàng xóm đấy. Mẹ đi đồng lát đi. Toàn ở nhà là giúp và bà là cái người mà ở đây người ta bầu lên trưởng xóm. Trước tiên là phải cảm ơn các bạn lao động vất vả mới bớt chút cái đồng lương ra để coi như mua những xuất quà đấy đến đây biếu.
Not only does this group help the homeless by providing them with food and comforts which they might not otherwise be able to afford. This weekly activity can also humanize those who suffer marginalization and discrimination, helping to build bonds in the community and foster progression based on goodwill.
And it gives us a good idea now that we've seen the people and we've spoken to some people that we have a better idea of how to do it next time.
1 day a week, 2 or 3 hours, simple thing to do, helps a lot of people out. Anybody can do it, that's the thing. Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to promote, is that anybody can just show up, dedicated 3 hours a week, and people can be much better off for it.
Every week you can actually see the effects of it over time because you start to notice that they start to look a bit more healthy, their clothes look a bit cleaner, and they look happier. And that's where you can really see the change that's occurring, which I'm immensely proud of, and anybody who helps with my organisation should be proud of.
The problem of poverty is not going to go away, but their suffering can be alleviated directly by the kind of work that Helping Hanoi's Homeless is doing.
I definitely intend to travel to different places and try and set up similar sorts of things. But for now, I love Vietnam. I want to stay in Vietnam, and and I just want to stay in a place where I think I can do the most good. And I definitely think, Vietnam is one of those places.
Today, I'm out and about to visit a very special classroom led by a very special lady who for over 20 years has been providing free reading and writing lessons to those who otherwise could not access or afford them. Every morning, Monday through Friday, at the Cultural Building of Residential Area Number 2 of Tân Mai Ward, Quang Mai District, the Lớp học linh hoạt, led by the 75-year-old teacher Nguyễn Thị Côi, comes alive with the sound of children practicing their spelling and reading. The students of the class come from many circumstances. Some children have autism or other intellectual disabilities. There are children living in poverty, or even adults who couldn't afford to learn how to read and write. Mrs. Côi started out as a primary school teacher. In 1994, when District Hai Ba Trung recruited teachers for charity classes, she joined immediately. For many years, she taught everywhere she could for the needy children, from the local classrooms to riverbanks or even areas with high crime.
Tôi bắt đầu tham gia cái lớp này từ năm 1994. Từ khi mà của hắn còn thuộc về quận Hai Bà Trưng. Phần lớn là dạy các trẻ là những trẻ mà lang thang đường phố của các tỉnh về Hà Nội kiếm sống. Ban ngày các cháu đi kiếm ăn, và buổi tối nếu mà không tổ chức vào những cái lớp như thế này thì các em sẽ sa đọa vào cái tệ nạn xã hội.
Today, I joined Mrs. Côi as her assistant. I've been a teacher's assistant and tutor in the past before, and it's no easy job. From my experience, children are easily distracted, and it's often difficult to get them to focus on a lesson. So I approached today's job with caution.
Dạy những em này phải kiên trì, thể hiện cái tình thương yêu các em, thương yêu chăm sóc đùm bọc, dạy và dỗ chứ không phải là dạy như phổ thông, tức là cứ dạy ào ào đi xong thôi. Dạy các em phải biết đọc biết làm tính làm toán. Không những dạy này còn dạy các em về kỹ năng sống, về vệ sinh thân thể, rồi thì là về gấp quần áo, thổi cơm, quét nhà tại giã như vậy, hay là cách giao tiếp với khách đến nhà, phải dạy hết.
As she said, merely teaching them how to read and write isn't enough. Her special students need special instruction. Sometimes Mrs. Côi shifts from teacher to nurse, helping them with their health problems.
Ví dụ như em Tùng là một em rất là khổ. Thế khi mà đến với tôi thì là tôi dạy em từng tí một, dạy em từ cái nếp sống, từ cách xưng hô, từ cách lễ phép và cách ăn ở vệ sinh. Vì em này có cái bệnh từ nhỏ, tức là bệnh là nóng Nhật Bản, cho nên cứ học căng thẳng quá là nó lan cành ra. Thế như thế này vì cái thể hiện cái tình thương yêu các em thương cháu, cho nên là tôi không có sợ gì cả. Và những em như thế thì tôi cứ để cho em lên nằm và có thể hình thức như là bướm huyệt đấy, để cho các em dễ tỉnh. Cho nên là em này bây giờ trở thành một cái đứa trẻ rất là ngoan.
Beyond correcting their penmanship and correcting their spelling, Mrs. Côi concerns herself with deeper matters, like how to help them overcome an inferiority complex to become a useful person for society. Mrs. Cói's students and their parents certainly show their appreciation of this selfless teacher.
Với tôi thì các em coi như là một người bà, một người mẹ, một người chị. Cho nên các em nói là các em nó nghe. Tuổi đã cao rồi, nhưng mà cô thấy sức khỏe nó còn được thì cô sẽ dạy. Và khi mà tuổi mà sức khỏe yếu nữa thì cô nghỉ thôi.
Từ ngày tôi cho con tôi vào lớp học cô Côi thì thứ nhất là cháu nó hiểu biết về con chữ hơn, cái thứ hai nữa là nó tự phục vụ được bản thân, và thấy cô có cái lương tâm đạo đức nghề nghiệp giúp đỡ các cháu, dù là các cháu bệnh tật cô vẫn thương yêu giúp đỡ.
24 years is quite a long time to be teaching the same curriculum, but to bring hope to the children with difficult circumstances is enough to keep Mrs. Côi motivated, to guide her students toward a better stage of life. And with that, we'll draw this edition of Vietnam A to Z to a close. Thank you so much for watching and joining me as I explored just a few of the many charitable organizations here in Vietnam. If any of these groups interest you, I encourage you to please look them up online and see how you can help out. I am Fred Lay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next Vietnam A to Z. Equally important.